So you're new to Linux and you're confused about the file structure. Let's talk about it. Linux and Windows use two very different approaches to organizing files, and those differences come from how each system was designed. Linux uses a single unified file tree that starts at the root directory with the \. Everything, files, storage, devices, and even hardware is accessed somewhere within this hierarchy. This often is described as everything is a file, and it makes Linux very flexible for developers, servers, and system administrators. Windows, on the other hand, uses a drive-based structure. Storage is divided into separate roots like C and D, and this makes it easier for everyday users to understand where things live and keep system files, applications, and user data clearly separated. In short, Linux prioritizes transparency and control, while Windows prioritizes ease of use and familiarity. Neither approach is better in all cases. They're simply optimized for different goals. Let's run through a few commands here at the Linux terminal. Currently, if I type pwd, this command will print the working directory that I'm currently in. It tells me exactly where I am in the Linux file system at this moment. Notice that the path starts with a /. This means that this is an absolute path starting from the root of the system. If we type the ls command, this stands for list. This command shows the files and directories in the current location. These names you see are either files or directories. In Linux, directories are just special types of files. If we type cd / and then type ls, the single slash represents the root directory, which is the starting point for everything in Linux. CD stands for change directory, and again we're using ls to list the current directories. When I list the contents here, I see standard system directories like bin, etc, home, and var, as well as several others. These directories exist on almost every Linux system. Now, let me briefly explain a few important ones you'll see often. Bin contains essential system commands. etc holds system configuration files. Home is where the user files live. Var stores changing data like logs, and temp is used for temporary files. Let's type cd / home, hit enter, and then ls. This is where user accounts are stored. Each directory here represents a different user on the system. As you can see here, only the Michael directory exists. We can also type cd #, hit enter, pwd, and we can see that this command is a Linux shortcut. It always means the home directory for the user who's logged in. This is an example of using a shortcut instead of a full absolute path. So when I typed cd / home, that was the absolute path because it started from the root. If I type cd /, this will take me to the root directory, and then cd home will take me to the home directory. pwd, again, lists the current working directory. So when I type cd / home, that was an absolute path because it started from the root. When I type cd home, that was a relative path because it was based on where I already was. Now, relative path depends on your current location. Absolute paths do not. If we type cd / the two dots mean go up one directory level. We'll type pwd again, and we can see that we're back at root. This is very useful when navigating quickly. Now, let's say I want to see more details of the files in a particular directory. If I type ls-l, this shows detailed information, including permissions, ownership, size, and timestamps. The very first character on each line tells us the file type. A D means directory. A dash is going to mean a regular file. Let's go to our home directory by typing cd tilde and run the same command. Because there are no current files yet, all we see is the D running in front of the permissions. Let's go ahead and create a file. I'll type touch example.txt. Let's run the ls-l command again. Now we can see that there is a dash in front, and this represents the file. Keep in mind, Linux does not necessarily rely on file extensions. Let's type file asterisk. The file command actually inspects the contents of each file and tells us what it really is. This is one of the reasons Linux is so powerful and flexible. If you stuck with me this far in the video, please leave a comment, ls some more Linux. Or not. Also, please subscribe and like the video. Now, to wrap up, this video we've looked at some simple differences between Windows and Linux and their file structures. This included the primary importance of the root directory in Linux and how everything in Linux extends from this primary directory. We went on further to learn how to identify where we are in the file system with the pwd command, how to list files and directories with the ls and the ls-l command. We talked a little bit how to navigate using the absolute and relative paths using the change command, cd, as well as cd space ... and cd tilde. Now, in the next video, we're going to go a little bit deeper. We'll start working with files themselves, viewing contents, searching text, and editing files. I'll see you then. Blessings.